Here we are in the Genesis GV80, and I keep thinking this is a very nice place to be.
It's a wonderful place
And
to
it
be.
seems like a place that would be good for like golfers and going golfing.
You too. I have this sudden and inexplicable urge to go golfing just sitting here. I really can't explain it.
GV80.
Not
let's go
sure.
golfing.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
Hey, it's the GV80. It's really the reintroduction of the entire Genesis brand and line. And they took a few years off, you remember that, to rethink everything about what Genesis means and what they're doing, and from a stylistic standpoint, differentiate themselves from Hyundai.
And the V
And
stands for versatility.
It stands for versatility.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, nevertheless, I have been a little bit unconvinced until seeing it in person and being next to it and driving it. And I wasn't convinced, and now I am.
Are you?
What
Okay.
Genesis has done is make a spectacular vehicle, and then you throw in the price. Because you can no longer say with Genesis, well, it's really great because of the price. No, it's just really great.
That is a great point. It is excellent, period. It is a fantastic alternative. Genesis right now is where Lexus was in the 90s. They are the upstart.
They're the
They
upstart,
are-
but I don't feel like that they're that far behind.
I don't think
Because Lexus was just rebadging Toyota Camrys and throwing leather on them
when
and that
Lexus,
kind of thing.
when they
So-
threw out their first LS, it was a throwdown. When they
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
had the
yeah.
first LS,
Okay,
it was
yeah.
a throwdown, and they said, we have come to play, and we're cheaper than all the German competitors.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by Genesis, and
Okay,
that's what I
fair
mean by
enough.
this GV80.
Fair enough.
Because this is almost in every possible stat a match for the Mercedes GLE, which we both really like.
Which is
It
incredible.
is almost the exact same wheelbase. So the GLE's got it by a little bit, which also has like 1 more inch of rear legroom.
Yep,
But
yep.
it's very similar in size, and it is unbelievable in amenities.
and it's
this
twice
one right
the price.
here, yes, this one right here is $66,500.
Yep.
And if you load it out, a GLE, you'd be well over $100,000. Then if you went for the AMG version, which of course is a lot more powerful than this,
yeah.
you'd be more than double the cost of this.
But that's just it. Yeah, you've got more power. But what beyond that does this not have?
Okay.
What does the AMG flavor that this doesn't have? Because you're getting so much in terms of style and refinement and quality and features and amenities and technology. If you were to compare them right down the list,
Yeah.
you keep coming back to, well, why do other cars cost so much? And that's the issue with Genesis right now, is that sometimes we drive a car and we think, wow, it's a great car, but price.
Yeah.
Cars have gotten
Yeah,
expensive.
They are, for sure.
This one is the opposite of that. This one is
good point.
explicitly, wow, what a great car.
Yeah.
This should cost more.
It's a can you believe it moment.
They
It
should
really
charge
is.
more for
yes,
this,
I
for
agree
what you're
with you.
getting.
Yes.
Well, let's start with the powertrain. You have 2 engines available. You've got the inline 4 with 300 horsepower, and you've got the V6 like we have, twin turbo, because don't you just want to say twin turbo? If you're getting into your SUV, you want to say twin turbo. 375 horsepower,
Yes.
391 pound-feet of torque.
Which is
this
a lot.
thing hauls.
Yes,
this thing moves.
This is 5,000-pound SUV, but
Yep.
that twin turbo V6 is excellent. I kind of can't believe they offer a 2-liter 4 in this. That doesn't seem like nearly enough.
I agree.
Also,
People
doesn't
like it,
seem
though. People like it.
luxurious enough. Granted, that's the way you keep your price down. This is
Exactly.
the loaded out
Exactly.
Advanced Plus, which means it's got the 7 seats. 7 seats. They're really, really little back there. But this powertrain is excellent. And this powertrain is competitive to the middle of the Mercedes range. It obviously can't compete with the big AMGs. But again, at the middle of the Mercedes range, it's significantly more affordable.
Yep.
And it drives very well.
It really does. Everybody who gets in this just kind of can't believe the price. They can't believe
Agreed.
that A, it exists, B, they're over the name, and there's nothing really a stigma either way attached to the Genesis name.
True.
It's not like, well, for Genesis.
I agree.
Nobody has any thought either way about this. And so everybody comes in with an open mind and just thinks, wow, this is really? And it's $66,000 and you get all of this?
I wish all of you watching could do something that it's already passed. But I wish we could put everyone that's ever thought about one of these in it blindfolded and then take off the blindfold once they're inside.
Yeah.
Because this
Agreed.
is one of those interiors where you sit down and you just go, this is really nice. The color choices, the material choices, the design and the look of it. This is absolutely a luxury vehicle. I don't care what the badge is. I don't care what the price is. If you were able to just drop in this and have no idea and just open your eyes suddenly and see the interior, you'd be like, wow, this is really nice in here.
Agreed.
And then you start to put everything else together of the price competition with everybody else, the fact that it is the unexpected badge, the fact that the exterior styling looks really interesting as well. I actually think the exterior looks like the old Infiniti FX35, just blown up a little bit. You remember that one? That was their front engine.
Far better looking, I think.
Okay, that was their front engine. They were early on in SUVs with rear-wheel drive, and it looks kind of like that kind of long-nosed front end, which you don't see a lot of.
Just in case, let's say you're traveling 87 miles an hour in a 45 zone.
In case,
and,
got it.
You know,
Theoretically
you're thinking safety. It's all in theory.
Got it.
You're
Perfect.
thinking safety.
Yep.
10 airbags, you want safety. You're thinking your family, you want safety. And interestingly, first in class, there's a curtain airbag to separate the two front passengers from colliding in an accident. It's been done before, but it's right between the driver's seat and the center console here to prevent the bodies from clacking together.
You've heard that old thing where your parents would say, don't make me knock your heads together. That's not going to happen in here.
Exactly right. I think a lot of the appeal to the GV80 is the passenger experience. Really do. You're going to get in, you think, as Todd said, wow, look at how it makes you feel. And it's that in-car experience that we've noticed about Mercedes-Benz. They've really focused on that heavily. It's not just the driving experience. It's everybody else. Now, the rear seats, the third row, not great, but they're for kids.
At most, they're for kids.
I don't think Genesis and Hyundai are saying, look, this is a Suburban and Expedition fighter.
No, they clearly aren't. I mean, here's the thing.
Doesn't matter.
In almost every trim but one or two, almost every way you can configure this, it is only a 5-seater. It should only be a 5-seater. I put my wife, who is 5'6", in the third row. Her knees and head were both touching. So we're talking little kids if used at all. These are
totally
emergency third row.
Totally fine.
This really is honestly, it's properly spec'd as a 5-seater. Those
think
really
so.
Nice second row seats do fold flat. You have a lot of cargo space back there. I think you should just embrace this as a 5-seater. I know everybody's offering a 7 option because they're worried about losing people to other brands.
They would get dinged if they didn't.
I understand the thinking.
Dinged.
I also think it is a poor choice to have this as a 7-seater, but
I think it works. I don't think that they lost that much rear space back there by doing the 2 extra seats and gained everything. If you do have little people to put back there, you're going to like it.
Genesis makes a thing about the fact that they are very excited about the clean, luxurious interior design here, and I agree.
Yes.
You have this jeweled center console, which right now is reflecting light into my eyes, and it's kind of hurting me, but you have this jeweled center console. Everything is really straightforward and also feels high-end. I have a couple of issues.
Oh, you do?
I do have a couple of issues. If you have Apple CarPlay plugged in or Android Auto, that's going to work as you expect, and that's normal. Some of the navigation of the Genesis-based stuff isn't as intuitive as it could be. The way it works with these 2 different dials, you take a little bit of getting used to. You'll get used to it, but it takes a little bit of getting used to where you're like, oh, that's how you want to work.
I noticed that,
Okay? The Apple CarPlay and stuff, that works as normal, and that's great. So that's fine. The other thing is they also pointed out in the press materials, look at how small we made the vents. Don't do that. The vents are too small.
The vents are powerful, and they're excellent, and they work well.
The only reason that you were properly cooled in this car, this is an industry-wide plague, and I'm going to keep ranting about it until it gets fixed. Car manufacturers are relying on the fact that the seats now cool themselves so we can make tiny little vents, and the vents aren't big enough for your family.
Perfectly fine. They blow a lot of cool air.
They do blow a lot of cool air. I get
excellent.
it. But I'm sorry, vents are. You don't like that lights are getting small. I don't like that vents are getting small because they aren't enough for hot climates. I'm telling you, people are leaning on their cooled seats and just going, "This is good enough," and it's not good enough.
I have found the vents to blow a lot of cool air. It's like a meat locker in here.
I have something that surprised me. Of course, this has every possible safety feature you can imagine.
It does indeed.
And in the process, I turned on its smart cruise control, adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, right. How'd you like it?
And I drove for a while, and you know what I came to the conclusion?
How much did you fight with it?
What I realized is that it pretty much from a driver perspective in traffic on a freeway feels no different than the Tesla system.
Yes, I agree
That's
to
the
that.
interesting thing.
It's
Tesla's
excellent.
getting all the press for self-driving, which isn't self-driving. They're getting all the press for that.
Yeah.
But this system is a smart cruise control system, and from a I'm just commuting on the freeway perspective, it doesn't feel any different than what Tesla's doing. Now, what it won't do, that Tesla will do, since they're the benchmark, it won't do the smart change lanes thing.
No,
it won't do that.
with the turn signal. No, it won't.
But it will stay in the lane, it will brake, it will follow traffic every bit as well as Tesla, who is charging you lots extra for a system like this. I'm surprised that this actually has a system that works that well. It does work well enough to start to give you that false impression of, oh, the car's really driving. It's really not.
It's not.
But it starts to give you that impression. It is that level
slightly
of good.
above level 2
Yes.
as far as autonomy. But yes.
But I was
agree.
surprised to turn it all on and be like, this is doing actually surprisingly really well.
Yeah,
Another thing that happens is you can get this instrument cluster without these actual gauges. You can get an all screen. I think the gauges are better. I think they're more interesting.
It's one of each. Did you notice that?
Yes. I think it's more interesting.
Half
They've
of it's
actually
screen,
got
one's an analog gauge. It's kind of
But
nice.
it's got the rings and everything, and it feels jeweled. It feels like the old-fashioned clocks, which is
Yeah.
a great way to interact with a car.
I think that
I prefer it
impression-
without the all-digital.
I think that impression gives a higher-end luxury feel to it. Well, this ride experience that we're experiencing is brought to you in part by many things, and that is
Including
first
golfing.
Of all,
Sorry.
golfing. Yes.
Sorry, golfing.
It's
Golfing
not
is
brought
key.
to you by golfing, but anyway.
GV80. Let's go golfing.
It is brought to you by acoustic glass in the windshield and the doors in the front glass here. It is also brought to you by Genesis engineers doing the active noise cancellation and offering that in the GV80.
Yep.
It's due to the wheel motions and sensors. It has lane follow assist, as you said, but the lane follow assist can be turned on and off whether or not you're in cruise control.
Yes, you're
right.
right.
It will be on and you're not cruising. You're using the throttle yourself.
I experienced
Which
that
is
as well. Yes.
interesting. So all of these things stacking up. It's got road preview, meaning the cameras on the outside of the car are looking at the road and using the wheel sensors to determine, is it a bumpier road, and it will adjust the damping if it senses that.
Which is something that Mercedes
That's-
first introduced on the S-Class not that long ago.
Yes.
And the whole industry went, that's brilliant. Here it is on the Genesis, $66,000.
This price, exactly right. The list is a really long one of all this tech that you get. And so that brings us to styling. You might not like it. There's people who don't like this giant grille. I've found that people just move out of your way. They see that giant trapezoid coming at them.
Yes, you're
and
right.
they just get over. It's actually kind of cool.
That's
I
funny.
like this. That defines the shape. But the other thing, and that is the senior designers have said these twin lines, the twin slashes that denote the LED headlamps and the taillights, and you'll also see it as the accent on the side, that is the new Genesis look moving forward. You're going to see that defining Genesis products from here on
Their
out.
character line, yeah.
It took me a while because it competes against the trapezoid grille and then this, what they call the parabolic line, defining the entire body side, that shoulder with power lines, defining the fender lines.
You're off in designer land now,
This
and I'm
is
just getting
designer
tired.
speak.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it works well together. I wasn't convinced, but I had to see it in person because I thought the rear end of the car was actually not aggressive enough. It was coming down to the earth too soon for me. I wanted to have a more stink bug, more aggressive kind of look to it. Looking at it, walking around the car, I'm really appreciating this because Genesis has to do something to stand themselves out from the crowd. And it can't just be the price.
Yep, you're right.
So you're getting all this tech, you're getting interesting, definitive styling that nobody else is doing. And then in the interior, as you've said before, this is a minimalist interior.
Yeah.
I like that they're going after letting the materials and the tech take precedence. You're looking at this interior and you think, okay, screen, it doesn't dominate everything, but it's large, 14.5 inch screen.
Yep.
And, you know, you've got the typical instrument pod, but it's usable, it's nice, it's got a lot of tech there. But this is an uninteresting shape. It's just clean. Look at how many circular shapes and rectangular shapes are here in this center console.
You're right.
They're familiar, they're relatable. But it's the materials that they're made out of that take precedence over the lack of busyness in here. And that lack of busyness says luxury.
And also the HVAC controls have their own area here where they actually have knobs and other things that
Just
happen to make
that.
it easy for you to use the HVAC controls. Seat heat, seat cooling, all has dedicated stuff. It's not buried in the screen anywhere. It's not something you're digging for. You've got instant access to those things, which is something that we always complain about when it's not the case. It is here as well.
Yeah.
And it also mirrors the shape of the large screen above, but it's completely separated area. It's not even like you're confused about what's where. It's like, nope, this is HVAC and
The
seats.
hierarchy is clear,
absolutely.
and it's simple and clean. And then, yeah, let the materials do the talking. And every time you touch something, you go, really? That just feels good. That's just impressive. The seats we're sitting in, the door panels, all the switch gear. It has that Volvo and Mercedes jewel-like quality to it.
Yep.
And then I'm reminded of the price again. $66,000 is a lot of money. But when we're talking at this level, it's almost a bargain.
It's a lot of money objectively, but it is a screaming bargain in this class.
Indeed, indeed.
You ready to get over here?
I am. You need to appreciate this.
Uh-oh, really?
It's a whap. It's not a
it's
clunk.
it's
It's not a reverberation.
It's a very nice thunk.
That is the first
Congratulations,
thing.
there's a good thunk.
Before you even start up the car, that is the first thing he'll tell you, like, oh, we're in something special here.
I have never decided special based on door thunk, but this is a key place where you and I differ.
Yes.
That's fine. It can be door clank, and I just don't care. But I do care. But I do care immensely about seats. Because the minute I sit down, I want to adjust the seat and I want to get comfortable. And I have to say, look, Genesis and Hyundai have been behind for a while on seats. I think they've gotten competitive now, where the seats feel solid. I still don't think they've gotten to the place where they're standouts. One place where I think Mercedes and Porsche both beat this is seats, BMW as well. All three of those major German manufacturers have better seats than this.
Yeah.
Having said that, these are
a
not
lot of money.
Yes. Having said that, these are not bad seats.
No, by no stretch. Yeah.
We ride in everything. We drive everything, and so we back to back are in all kinds of manufacturers' seats all the time. And so that's the only reason that I say this. But I do think that that's a place where your money has gone into a level above this is seat capability and comfort.
Yep.
Volvo's also up there. Those are the standouts in seats. So Genesis isn't there yet. However, I used to get into Genesis, Hyundai, Kia products and feel like the seats weren't good enough. These are good.
Yeah.
They are good. They're not standout, but they are very good. They're very adjustable, and I do like them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, you're wondering how this drives. First of all, you have to look at the architecture, and that is a long nose combined with those front wheels pushed all the way forward.
Yep.
So the driver actually sits pretty much dead center of the vehicle. So here I am almost exactly between the two axles.
Yep.
That has a lot to do with how good it drives. It's not a sports car. It's not designed to be a sports car. To me, it feels a little bit distant on the highway, but I guess that's kind of what Genesis is going for.
I agree with you. It is distant. It's not involving to drive. It isn't at all.
No.
But when you think about the class and the usage, I don't know that matters. And
I agree.
I'll put it to you this way. Based on the comment you're just saying about where you're sitting in the car, distant and uninvolving is something we see on all kinds of CUVs and even a minivan we were parked over the front wheels.
Yes.
This feels much more luxurious and interesting to drive than those do because of where you are in the car. It just doesn't engage you in what's going on.
Now, this has different driving modes. So first of all, to put it in gear, you've got this jeweled wheel down here.
Yep.
It's 2 detents to the right or left for drive or reverse. But then your drive mode is over here. You've got a lot of different ones, snow and eco and comfort, and now we're in sport. And you can actually feel the car get a little bit stiffer, and you've got a little bit more resistance here to your steering. That gives you the feeling of sport. It's not that the car suddenly is more sporty.
It's not. Yeah.
Because I noticed more of an artificial is the best thing I can give it. But it's not bad. I don't dislike it. It's very refined. And for the price you're paying, you come back and think, wow, all right, I can hustle that one notch faster than traffic on a curvy canyon road or on the highway. You're just that one notch faster than everybody, and you can come into corners.
You can be, yes.
And the car, there's some lean to it. So it's not a full-on sport kind of thing, but it's impressive enough.
That power is satisfying, isn't it?
It really is.
I think it actually feels more powerful than those numbers suggest. It feels like something in the mid 400s, almost 500. I feel like in the way that it moves this thing at 5,000 pounds, it feels like it's got more power than those high 300 numbers suggest.
All right, that's floored. That's pretty
Not bad.
satisfying.
Not
Okay,
bad.
there we go.
Yeah.
That's pretty satisfying.
The more I sit here, the more I just think this is just well done.
It's that
Across
driving
the board.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got it here,
Mhm.
so the driver's going to be entertained, but so are the passengers.
Yeah.
Going to go, wow, I've got to consider this. I think now that Genesis is in the category of Volvo for me, where we forget about how good they are,
Yeah.
and then we think everybody should just have one. You have a need for that?
Yeah.
Get one. You should
Yeah.
just have one of these. It's impressive.
I think Volvo is probably their best competitor because Volvo
Yeah.
is the other one that is just underneath the major German luxury big boys,
Right.
but yet competes so well with them at less price. I think Volvo may be the one that they are directly alongside, and that's interesting as well.
Warranty. That's what I'm forgetting.
That's right, yes. Warranty's very good here.
10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty.
Mhm.
And on top of that, you get the 3-year, 36,000 for pretty much everything else.
Well, including all of your service and roadside.
Yes,
It's completely
thank
covered
you.
for the first 3
maintenance.
years.
That's
Yes.
an added bonus.
That is money saved instantly. Yep.
Come on. That is Genesis saying, we want your business and we deserve your business.
And we stand by our product.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't offer that kind of service if they thought there was going to be a whole lot of cost in them maintaining it for the first 3 years and 36,000 miles. This is the reason that BMW does it. But of course, it's also the reason these manufacturers get out of it because they're worried about the high miles.
Right.
But 3 years, all your maintenance, all your roadside, which is fantastic.
Don't you want a twin turbo SUV?
You should.
Yeah.
You certainly shouldn't get this in the 2-liter. I'm
No.
sorry. You need to get this
Just
version.
get the twin turbo,
Yeah.
pay the money, and you won't regret it. Did you see that over there? It's a golf course.
There's a golf course.
Well,
we
what
should
do you
take,
know?
We should take the GV80 golfing.
We should.
I
We
just
should
had
drive
that
over
idea.
there.
That's why we wore the golf shirts. I'm ready to golf. I don't know about you.
Let's
but
drive
I
over
am
there to the
ready
golf
to
course.
golf.
The urge hasn't gone away. All I think about is golfing.
That's all we do. When
Yeah.
we're not on camera, all we do is golf. Do you know
Totally.
that about us?
It's
No one
so
has listened to
us.
our podcast if they believe that. Yeah.
What a beautiful day to go golfing.
A tiger would love this.
Tigers do love those kind of golf
No, a
courses.
tiger would love this.
A tiger would love that. Sure.
They got a lot of free press out of that, by the way. The fact that he lived,
I know.
and everybody talked about the fact he was in
And
a
the
Genesis
car
GV80.
protected his life.
Yes.
It was safe.
This is the reason we still have Tiger Woods.
Is
For
it
better or for worse.
two on the nose?
Is the
Is it two
GV80. No, we're actually talking about it now. I just made fun around it earlier. That was part of the fun. Yeah.